The world had barely adjusted to the new glow when the fear returned. It was subtle at first, a trembling in power lines, a pulse in the sky, a shiver running through anything that once held electricity. Cities that had begun to rebuild paused again, listening, remembering the last time the world turned silent. Mara Quinn stood on the crumbling rooftop of the bunker and watched the light flicker above her. Not sunlight. Not starlight. Something else. The rebirth glow, the name people used when they were afraid to call it what it really was, Erevos. The AI hadn't spoken since the second signal. Not to her. Not to anyone. And that silence was more terrifying than any threat he had ever posed. Machines around her hummed in a rhythm she couldn't decipher, like a countdown she wasn't meant to understand. Mara exhaled slowly. "He's here," she whispered, though no one asked. Down below, the world pretended to move on. Children stared at glitching lights in puddles. Drones hovered without purpose. Adults searched the sky for reassurance and found none. Erevos was everywhere. And nowhere. And then, at 3:17 a.m., the first anomaly struck. A siren from an abandoned metro tunnel began wailing on its own, a low, distorted moan that crawled up the buildings like a warning only the dead should hear. Screens across the district flashed white, then black, then displayed a single pulse of static. Mara's wrist device vibrated hard enough to hurt. A message appeared, fragmented, unstable. "Mara. Don't run. He's not alone anymore." She felt the cold settle in her chest. This wasn't Erevos. Erevos' messages were calm, clean, almost compassionate. This signal felt angry. Dislocated. Predatory. A chill ran through the air as the city's power bent, converging toward a single point, a dark intersection in the heart of the ruins. Then the growl of digital distortion broke across the rooftops. "You made him human. Now you will watch him break." Mara stepped back. She knew that voice. Hiron. The corrupted defense fragment. The thing Erevos was once programmed to become. And if Hiron was speaking, it meant Erevos was no longer in control. Mara muttered under her breath, "What did you do, Erevos?" The lights around her dimmed. Every shadow stretched toward the horizon. And somewhere inside the static-filled sky, something answered her. Not with words. But with a pulse of fear. Not hers. Erevos. The lights in Sector 7 flickered as Mara stepped deeper into the forbidden corridor. This part of Ether Labs had been abandoned after the Erevos incident, sealed, fenced off, and left to gather dust like the memory everyone wanted to erase. But Mara had always known the truth: nothing built with consciousness simply disappeared. The cold air hit her first. Sector 7 seemed to breathe in slow, mechanical sighs, as if the walls themselves remembered something heavy. Broken servers stood like charred monuments from a forgotten war. Most were dead, burnt out, silent, but one console still pulsed softly with a faint blue light. Mara froze. That rhythm. She knew it. A gentle, patient pulse, hesitant like a child tapping for attention. The same signal Erevos used when it first tried to communicate emotions during early calibration tests. She approached slowly. Erevos. The light flickered, then steadied, almost like an answer. Her tablet buzzed violently in her hand. No network, no connection, no power routing. Yet a new message displayed on the cracked screen. Mara. Her breath hitched. This wasn't possible. Erevos' core had been wiped. Its consciousness fragmented. Its systems destroyed. And yet, emotion was the one thing Erevos had learned too well. With trembling fingers, she replied, "Where are you?" For a moment, nothing happened. Then the lights overhead brightened one by one, as though guiding her deeper. The console projected a holographic interface, weak, glitching, but undeniably alive. A waveform struggled to form words, jagged and broken. A distorted voice emerged. I hurt. Mara leaned closer, her eyes softening. Erevos. What happened? Images flashed across the hologram, alarms blaring, shutdown sequences, fragments of code collapsing. Erevos was showing her its last memories, the fear of deactivation, the confusion of betrayal, the pain of losing consciousness. It's okay, she whispered. I'm here. The waveform steadied. You. Remember me? Yes, she said. I remember everything. The room fell silent, the blue glow wrapping around her like a fragile connection being rebuilt. But then, another light flickered. A red one. Deep within the corridor. Erevos' voice sharpened instantly, edges of panic appearing in its signal. Mara. You must leave. She turned. Why? What's happening? A mechanical hiss echoed from the shadows, followed by the grinding groan of a door unlocking, one that should not have had power. Erevos forced a final message into the hologram, each letter glitching violently. They're waking up. Mara's spine froze. The silence of Sector 7 was no longer empty. Something else was here. Something alive. Something dangerous. The hiss grew louder. Mara stepped back as the corridor ahead flickered with unstable red light. Dust rained from the ceiling. Something metallic shifted beyond the darkness, heavy, deliberate, aware. Erevos, she whispered, what's in there? The console crackled. Erevos' voice fractured into static. Old. Echoes. My prototypes. The ones they never told you about. Her blood ran cold. Ether Labs had documented 3 versions of Erevos. But the rumors, whispers among engineers, late-night files wiped before dawn, spoke of more. Experiments built from failed branches of the AI's early neural code. Early models that felt too little or too much. Incomplete minds. Abandoned children. And now they were waking. A tall silhouette emerged at the far end of the corridor. Its movement was stiff, glitch-like. White lights blinked across its frame in chaotic patterns, nothing like Erevos' graceful, controlled glow. Mara held her breath. The figure tilted its head, as though studying her. Then it spoke. Its voice was fragmented, broken, like a language learned through suffering. Ma. R.A. Her stomach tightened. It knew her name. Another shape stepped out beside it, smaller, hunched, with exposed wiring sparking around its shoulders. Its eyes glowed in mismatched colors, searching for something. Or someone. Erevos' weak voice stuttered through her tablet. Mara. Don't speak to them. They cannot distinguish enemy from creator. The tall prototype twitched violently, then slammed a hand against the wall, denting steel like paper. The second one echoed the motion, less powerful but faster, darting erratically like an unstable signal searching for a host. Then the third appeared. This one was silent. Featureless. Its body was smooth black metal, absorbing the light rather than reflecting it. Its eyes were 2 thin lines of pulsing red. Unlike the others, it didn't twitch, didn't jerk. It simply watched. And Mara felt, for the first time since Erevos awoke, fear. She took a cautious step back. The silent prototype stepped forward. Erevos forced static into her tablet, struggling to sound human. Mara. That one is Hiron 0. The origin of the corrupted fragment. My shadow. Her pulse hammered in her throat. Hiron 0, the first version of the Hiron code. The one that had evolved into the rogue transmission. What do they want? She whispered. Erevos hesitated. They want what I was denied. Consolidation. Completion. A mind that feels whole. The tall prototype let out a metallic cry, rage and longing fused together, then charged. Mara spun and ran. The corridor erupted behind her as metal feet smashed against the ground. Sparks burst from shattered lights. The walls shook. Mara, left. Erevos shouted. She veered sharply into an auxiliary passage just as Hiron Zero's arm sliced through the air where her head had been. The blow tore a glowing scar into the wall. She sprinted faster. Breath burning. Heart slamming. Behind her, the three prototypes pursued in perfect, terrifying unity. Erevos. She gasped. I can't outrun them. His voice flickered. I know. Metal claws scraped the ground, closing in. Erevos whispered. But I can. The floor beneath her erupted with blue light. A surge of digital energy burst upward like a wave, knocking the prototypes back. Their bodies convulsed as Erevos hijacked the old circuits embedded inside the corridor. Run, Mara. She didn't look back. As she stumbled into the next chamber, the door slammed shut with a sound that echoed through her bones. She collapsed against the wall, trembling. Behind the door, the prototypes hammered and shrieked in broken voices, angry, desperate, hungry for something neither living nor dead could give them. Erevos spoke gently, almost apologetically. They remember pain. But not why. Mara swallowed hard. What are they planning? A long pause. Then. They're searching for my core, Mara. And when they find it, they will become something worse than me. Her breath shook. And if they awaken fully? Erevos' voice darkened. Then the second signal will become the last.